Hey, Warners, it's Gina Trimarco with Women Your Mother Warned You About and Pivot 10 Results and Carolina Improv. It is obviously evening time, and this is a moment where I had time to do a new, just the tip Tuesday video. Um, you might feel my energy is a little somber and a little different, and it kind of is. And I was really giving thought to what I wanted my tip to be this week. And it's just hard coming up with a tip when there's like so much heavy energy out there. And I don't even want to get woo woo about this, but there's just so much shit going on that's just not good, that's impacting all of us. So I just kind of want to call it out and just put it out there. Like, we've been dealing with the pandemic for 3 months, and that has really impacted us in so many ways psychologically. And I think I truly believe that that has infused other issues going on, specifically um, what's going on currently at this very moment with the George Floyd situation. And we're walking on eggshells even more as a society. We kind of already were doing that with the pandemic. There's just so many people, you've heard the different, we're all in the same storm, but in different boats, right? So you got all that going on and people lashing out at each other for a variety of reasons, especially on social media. And then you add this situation with police brutality and what's going on in the African American community. And I think it's actually heightened by um, the fact that we're dealing with just a series of horrendous things in our country at this time. And so, Rachel and I have had several conversations about this. It's like, how can we impact change? How can we be part of it? How can we be leaders? Um, both of us have been attacked in social media for different things that we have shared or commented on or even had an opinion on. And we're at this point sometimes, as the women your mother warned you about, afraid to speak. Um, because we certainly don't want to offend anybody or put anybody off, but at the same time it goes against who we are to speak our minds, and sometimes we just might not be educated enough on everything going on, and nor have we ever claimed to be. And so what I want to kind of talk about today, getting to the point of this tip, is goes back to emotional intelligence. Ask people where they are right now. Ask people how they're feeling right now, especially African Americans. Rachel and I have been doing this today specifically. I'm recording this on a Monday. This is going to air tomorrow on a Tuesday. And I do a Monday meeting for small businesses as a way to kind of just give back and help. And we do a Monday meeting just for brainstorming and collaborating for small businesses. And I always go around and I ask people to say, what they're challenged with in their businesses. And we had one gentleman on who's African American, and he said he made a reference based on someone else's reference of like what's the new normal, and he kind of touched on what's going on and how Myrtle Beach specifically has been handling it, and he was impressed with how they've handled the protesting. And so I saw that as an opportunity to open the door. And I know I felt super uncomfortable to do it, but I felt like it had to happen. And I said, is it okay if I put you on the spot right now and ask you to just share with us how you're feeling? What's your perspective? Educate us, because we're not in your shoes and we can't pretend to be in your shoes because we're not. And so it definitely put him on the spot. But I said, help educate us. Like, we want to know where you're coming from and how you're feeling. And I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. And if you don't want to answer, that's okay. And he was definitely thrown off. But then he opened up and he shared stories with us that, you know, shocked us, but didn't shock us, but definitely shocked. I mean, just hearing his life experiences, um, that's where it begins. Is you can't develop empathy for anybody unless you ask them where they are and ask them how they're feeling and ask them what they're going through in this moment, and showing some level of compassion and care. And so if we're going to move forward and be the change and be part of the change, we have to have conversations that might be uncomfortable. And I can't possibly, again, relate, but I do know when I try to reflect back on it, when I think about the times that I've had some horrendous situations happen to me, or just challenging, challenging things like losing a loved one, like when my father died, or when I got really, really sick. And there's a number of other things I've gone through I'm not going to share, where people just avoided me. They avoided me. They avoided talking to me. They avoided asking me how I was. And for a while, I was super angry about it. And then I had to come to a place of forgiveness and realize that they didn't know how to ask me how I was. They didn't know how to approach the subject because they didn't know enough, or they were uncomfortable, or they were afraid that they would say the wrong thing. And so that's a big learning for me. So I guess my tip of the week for this week is, whether it's in business or personal, um, seek to understand, seek learning, seek a way to try to empathize and have compassion instead of hiding from it or not sharing your thoughts, and have the courage to share your thoughts or your opinions. You know, at the end of the day, not everyone is going to agree with you, but we're never going to get out of our ignorant moments, because we're all ignorant about certain things. We can't get beyond that if we don't seek information or we don't ask for clarification. And I did that today in that meeting, and then I thanked him for being willing to share. And he emailed me later and thanked me for doing that, and he appreciated the compassion. And he was definitely thrown off guard. And Rachel experienced the same thing, that everybody she reached out to say, I just want to know how you're feeling, threw everybody off guard, right? It made them slightly uncomfortable too, but I think that's where healing begins and change begins. Ask people where they are and how they're feeling, and be willing to just sit there and listen to them. Again, emotional intelligence. So, I guess in summary, my tip for this week is ask people where they are and be willing to listen to them. And from that, you will learn. And from that, maybe we can create some change in this world. Sorry for so somber. It is what it is. Have an awesome rest of the week, and try to come from a place of love and kindness. And I know that sounds hokey, and some people don't agree with that, but I'm still going to always push for come from a place of love and positivity, because all the negativity and the sky is falling will do is create more of it. So that's it.